Good morning, good afternoon. Once again, it will depend on the time that we are joining the course. So today we are going to look for the final session on the introduction or to the beginner level, where we are going to look for the loops and the functions, but we are not going to look it into much because we are not going to be the developers. Our intention it is just to be the analyst, so that's why we are not going to go into much kind of technical stuff. So what I'm going to show you, it's like to giving you like the basic knowledge on it, and also to be aware that they are there, because we will also need it more deeply when it comes to the dashboard. So the only way we are going to look for it, like understanding what is loop, what is a function, and how it is a difference, how it can be also useful in a real life situation. So from that, without taking much time, so let's jump to the functions. So what is a function? So the functions, it's like there is a set of rules that we combine together so that we can perform the specific activities. That's what we create. What we create for our own purposes, that's what we call the functions. So functions are used to logically break out the code into simple parts which become easier to maintain and understand. So those are the examples. These are the syntaxes for writing the function in R. So if you are trying to write the functions, those are the key things that we need normally to use. Like those are the rules. You have to define, of course, you have to say the function name, and then you put equal. This is the object, right? The function name, and then you put equal, you put the function called function, and then put the agreement. The agreement, it's like the operations, that what are you going to look for, what are you going to do, and this is the statement. It's like, let's say for example, I'm going to create the area of the triangle, so I will put the length and the width here. So and then on the statement, that's where I'm going to display what is the length, how can I get length. Let's say for if it is the area, so the area is going to be length times width, those kind of things. So that is the statement, like to bring into down those kind of things that we are going to look for. So here we can see that reverse word function, it is used to declare the functions. So those are the things that we are going to look for. And the function, when should I use the functions? So the good indicator, if you start copy and paste the code. Copy and paste most of the time means that you more likely to use the same thing or something very simple, similar over and over again. So when you're trying to copy and paste something from above to the next line, something like that, it is the time you can define the function. Instead of copying more than copying the code more than 2 times, more than 1 time, you can define the function that is going to do those kind of things for you. Or instead of copying the code, you will code the function to do what is also going to do. So, and the functions, also functional programming, help us to keep the code more structured, more readable, and much easier to maintain and debug. And even when you using the functions, at the time of debugging an error, it is easier for you to look for the functions instead of looking for each code by each code, each line by each line. But if you know where the error is, it is easier for you to look for it. And the function consists of 3 elements: input, instruction, output, and return value. As I said, so we have input, instruction. What are we going our function, let's say if we are going to make a functions of area of a triangle. what is the input. Input is like a length, width, something like that. The output, something like that. What is going to be like the result, and what is going to be like the return value. That's what we call those kind of things. So that's what we need to look for. So, and then this is also the examples of the functions. This function will help us to print x rising by the power of y. So I'm creating the function that is going to help me to take x power y, and then they print the result. So I name the function name as a power. I use the function as the keyword that is going to help me to define the function, and then I put x and y because those are the inputs that I'm going to look for. Then I put these kind of things, and then the value that is going to return, I'm defining like the statement. You see, this is the statement where it's like the detailed information where things is going to be look like. I say x power y, that is going to be those kind of things, and also the return value. I can also write to return, and then y is also something like that. In this function, x is input, result is the instructions or the statement, and return code, this is also the output or the return value, or I'm trying to call the function. So if I type the power and then put 3 comma y, so I'm going to I'm telling other that take a 3 and power with 8 and then return the values. That's what I'm going to do. This is also another example we can do. And here, this is the simple exercise you have to do so that you can master the functions. And you are creating the functions in other programming and call it in function 1. Take those kind of things. Those are the examples that I give to you so that you can master the functions in each in a understandable way. Because at the end of the day, we will need to create the functions when we are dealing with the dashboarding, but not much. But I want you to understand those key part of defining the function. So, and then this is also another part that we really want to look for, where we are going to look for the loop in R. So if we say loop, the R knows 3 different types of loop: for, while, and repeated loop. So for loop over the fixed number of items. As I said, loop, it's like I can say that it is like iterations. It's work like the way iterations are working. But more applicable or more examples of the loops. Let's say, for example, you are commanding someone to go in Nyabugogo and then find someone. If you don't see it, go in downtown. If you don't see them, go in somewhere, something like that. You are commanding someone to do something. So looping, it is what we are doing like in other programming. You are commanding other programming to look for your code, to look for your things that you are doing, so that if they see something that you are interested to look for, give them the instruction to apply. If not, continue until you succeed to the extent you wish. So that's what we are doing when we are looping. We are having a loop in 3 categories in other programming, where you have loop for loop, while loop, and repeated loop. For I in range. It's like if we say for loop, like there is a set of list there. There is a set of object there. You are trying to tell other that go in that list and do what I want you to do. That's what we call for. There is existing things that is there. So, and while loop comes, if you see what I'm telling you is not correct, do something. It's like plan B. If plan A is not working, while if you see that what I'm telling you is not working, do this also and come, something like that. And repeated loop, it's like infinity looping until manual. It's like what you are doing until it is not going to be repeatable. So it is something which is going to be like more continuously. We used to say that it is infinity loop, so we don't have control on it, that we are making a thing that is going to be repeatably, and what we have to do, we have to break it or to skip it to the next iteration. So as I said, it is also what we call iteration. That's where iterations also comes. So we are iterating until we maximize. We are using a repeated loop when we are solving mathematical questions, like when we are trying to see maximum likelihood. That's where the repeated loop comes. And then what we used to do, we set a lot of iterations. We set the maximum iterations we have to do, and then we say once you reach to this iteration, look for the maximum among them, and then break it and skip it to the next, something like that. And return function can be used to return the result. If we are posing something to the loop, we are posing something to the while loop, but we need to return the output. The return function it is the same as what we have on functions, so where is going to help us to print the final output. So it is also what we are going to see on loop, and this is also the examples of loop. I'm not going to take much time on it. What we have just like to know that the loops are there, and also this is the combinations of loops and the functions. So that's what we used to have. And in other programming, so we have seen the data frame and also the loops and the functions, but for us we are focusing on functions, where functions is a reasonable block of code that takes input, perform the operations, and return the result. And loops is control structure used to repeat, execute the set of instructions such as while and repeated. So without taking much time, let's go to the practical side, where this is I was trying to give you the set of the set of loops examples. Those are also the loops we can also use, and this is examples of the loops we can look for. And this is introduction to the loops. The loops are used to repeat the block of code. Like I want to repeat multiple times the code, so I will use the loops. This is an example that I was giving you. Like this is the practical or exercise I was giving you. That what I request you is just to look for those practical exercise and the scenario based, so that you understand it better. But also this is a functions that we have here, so where we are trying to make the functions. I normally give you the built-in functions that is already in ARA, and this is the functions that adding the two numbers. I was giving you the examples about both between the loops and the functions, and also the practical exercise you can do so that you can master loops and the functions. But don't worry, we will look it into more practical when we are dealing with applications of other programming, by doing also the dashboard. That's where we meet with loops and the functions more, and to conclude what I can do. So thank you once again for joining the course of introduction to other programming. So it was really enjoyable. We enjoy a lot, and at this time my advice is simple. It's like continue doing the practical thing, and try to look for the previous video where we have started on introduction to other programming. How also can we insert the other programming? That's what we have seen. And we have seen also introduction to statistics, and we have seen also not only introduction to statistics, we have seen also like the basics of other programming, where we can use basic mathematics like addition, subtractions, and the data frame, where we look at the different data frame like vector, matrices, and also the data frame. We have seen the different data structure, and now we finish it with the functions and the loop. and I think you have enjoyed the data frame. As a person who want to be the analyst, it is a time to make it into a applicable way. So there is a lot of questions that is covering each video, so I want you to do that kind of questions until you master it. There is a key to master those kind of questions that is going to help you to prepare the final capstone project that is going to reflect your knowledge to the beginner level before we jump to the intermediate level. So as I said, the pass mark of the final capstone project, it is going to be 65 and above. If you fail, you have to beat again. And once again, have good day, and I wish you all the best to the final capstone project, and I hope that you will continue to enjoy the session as well.